Hey everybody, Rebecca here. I hope you all are having a great Saturday. Have y'all looking at windy right now, and we are looking at a Category 5 hurricane. This is a Category 5 here. We can see how close this shows it is to the islands, but I'm going to show y'all something a few minutes from now and show y'all exactly where it's located according to radar. Okay, so we're going to watch where this goes because this is going to go up the coast of the United States according to Wendy. However, when I'm looking at this other site, it makes me wonder if it might actually be going to hit the United States. This is a Category 5 hurricane now, so this is nothing to be not taking seriously, especially if you are on the East Coast. There is going to be high waves and surf, and you do not want to be out there swimming. Also, I'm thinking about the fact that as this hurricane comes up the coast, it's going to push water up through the rivers and stuff, so I'm worrying about flooding. So these are the things to take into effect here. Now, as we look at where this is going, we can see our bands are all the way out here. So as this goes up the coast, the bands are actually going to go over, and you can see them in here, the darker areas. They are actually going to go over this part of North Carolina. As we go up here, and I'm going to stop this for a minute, you can see that these bands and stuff are affecting Boston, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, and here into North Carolina. Those bands also have wind and rain with them, just not as strong as this area here. So as we go up here, you can see that it's going to affect Nova Scotia and over here in Corner Brook, St. John's, as it gets carried off into the Atlantic and does whatever it's going to do, but that's future casting there. So let's take a look here at the National Hurricane Weather Center. We can see that this is Erin here. It shows it down here, shows that it is moving west at 14 knots or 16 miles per hour, has 140 knot winds or 160 mile per hour winds, making it a Cat 5. We also have another disturbance over here off the east coast of the United States. So let's take a look at satellite and radar here. We can see where it actually is here coming into view on the radar. So let me do this again. Here we go. This is a big hurricane, and it has a nice deformed eye. However, we have been noticing it does have some wobbles to it. If you're looking at it, it is wobbling. So I noticed it did a little jot to that way and then back this way. So I did a jot north and then back south. Or, yeah, north, then back south. And look how close it is to these islands. It's actually affecting these islands down here already. So you can see where the bands are out here. Okay, so let's take a look here. And we can see that it is right here. According to Windy, it's right here. So it's actually lower north than it shows on Windy. If you're looking at Windy, hang on, let me go back to Windy. If you're looking at Windy, if we're looking at Windy for today, you can see where it shows it's at. However, it is actually closer to Marigot, Charlotte, and Puerto Rico. So it is affecting these areas already. Anyway, guess we're just going to keep an eye on what's going to happen here. And I do have some news for this one. Hurricane Erin has strengthened to a fierce Category 5 storm in the Atlantic. It rapidly strengthened into a Category 5. It is not expected to make a direct hit on the U.S., but will create dangerous surf. Hurricane Erin on Saturday strengthened into a fearsome Category 5 hurricane with sustained winds of 160 miles per hour as the storm traveled west over the Atlantic. The hurricane is not expected to make a direct hit on the U.S., but it will still drive dangerous surf conditions along the East Coast. According to weather.gov, they expect this to eventually make a more northward turn and stay offshore of the east coast of the United States. So that certainly is good news when dealing with a storm this powerful. And that's coming from AccuWeather senior meteorologist Dan Pednowski. And he said under the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, Category 5 hurricanes are the strongest possible with a minimum of winds of 157 miles per hour. On afternoon, August 16th, Erin was passing to the north of the northern Leeward Islands in the Caribbean and was just over 200 miles from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Erin is only the 5th Category 5 hurricane to record on record to form this early in the hurricane season and the only Category 5 observed outside of the Gulf or Caribbean this early in the year. The Atlantic hurricane season officially began on June 1st and will last through the end of November. Active hurricane weather typically peaks between mid-August and mid-October. The first hurricane of the Atlantic season on average forms on about August 11th. So, as of 2 p.m. on August 16th, Erin was located about 110 miles north of Aguila on the most northward of the Leeward Islands and 205 miles east-northeast of Puerto Rico. It was moving west at about 16 miles per hour with winds of 160 miles per hour. This forecast track, and it shows that this track is most likely path of the center of the storm. When you're looking at these storms, it doesn't tell you where the damage is going to happen, though, because it doesn't illustrate the full width of the storm or its impacts, and the center of the storm is likely to travel outside of the cone up to 33% of the time. So, let's see here. Let me show you all this map. So, this is coming from USA Today. So, when we're looking at it, you can see where it usually travels. However, it could travel closer, could travel to this side, could travel here, could travel here. Whatever's on the outside here affects the East Coast. So that is a good map there to actually look at. So, Erin formed as a hurricane on August 15th. It was the first hurricane of the Atlantic season and quickly became the first major hurricane as well. A major hurricane is one that reaches at least Category 3 status. By the mid of next week, Erin is forecast to at least double or triple in size, which will result in rough ocean conditions over the western Atlantic. Erin's hurricane force winds had a mean diameter of 43 miles on August 16th, but are expected to increase to 132 miles in diameter by August 19th, while its tropical storm force winds are forecast to reach a mean diameter of 385 miles over the same period. The storm's outer bands of rain were already beginning to impact the northern Leeward Islands, and heavy rainfall is expected in the northern Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico for the rest of the week, bringing at least 2 to 4 inches of rain with localized amounts of up to 6 inches and possible flooding. Erin is expected to make a turn to the north and avoid making landfall altogether. It will pass somewhere between North Carolina's Outer Banks and Bermuda. Despite staying well off the coast, Erin will cause dangerous surf conditions up and down practically the entire East Coast, from Florida all the way up to New England beaches. The conditions will include high waves and dangerous rip currents. The Outer Banks could see some beach erosion and coastal flooding from high waves. Erin is expected to bring dangerous conditions to offshore waters and beaches along the northeast Florida coast from August 18th to the 21st, including rip currents and rough, high surf with breakers greater than 7 feet on the 19th and 20th. Weather conditions may seem ideal for beach trip, but these types of conditions are when rip currents fatalities can tend to occur. Rip currents may not be visible from shore, so beachgoers should swim near lifeguards and pay attention to posted warnings. So this hurricane underwent rapid intensification, and that occurs when tropical cyclone strengthens by at least 35 miles per hour in a 24-hour period. In the case of Erin, winds strengthened roughly 80 miles per hour in a day. Erin was declared a hurricane with winds and hurricanes are winds of at least 74 miles an hour, shortly before 11 a.m. on August 15th. A day later, it is strengthened into a Category 5 hurricane with winds of at least 157 miles per hour. And a Category 5 has winds of 157 miles per hour or greater. So, anyways, this is what I have for you. We'll just keep an eye on this. This makes me nervous, but nothing I can do about it except watch and wait and see what's going to happen. I'm hoping that it doesn't hit the United States, but looking at CODIS, it just shows that it's lower than where it's showing it at on here. So it makes me wonder when it's going to take that turn and go up the coast. You know, that's a nice U-turn right there. So anyways, you guys, hope y'all are doing well. Please be safe. Please like, subscribe, share the video if you'd like to help out with my channel any monetary way. I do have a PayPal below the video. Anyways, you guys, I love you. Please remember to tell someone you love them. Tomorrow's never promised. And make each day an adventure. Much love.